And this is the point of the show that we bring him in to give his perspective on nearly everything we've covered on the program and beyond. And today, I'm joined in the studio by Arise News analyst and former chairman of the editorial board of Daily Trust newspaper, the inimitable Mahmood Jega. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.
How are you?
Fine, thank you.
Atedo Peterside, another person who is inimitable. There's only one Atedo Peterside. Very forthright, very outspoken, but still driven by his good governance advocacy. What did you make of his chat?
Well, that is true. He spent a good part of the discussion this evening on the opinion polls that are pioneered by or sponsored by his foundation. Although, as he said, they don't carry out the polls, but they
they commission.
And he explained, you know, it was important because in Nigeria there is a lot of skepticism about the validity of opinion polls, unlike in some countries where polling is well established.
Even in those countries,
even in those countries, polls can misfire,
they can be deceptive.
But at least they are respectable, and not just for election purposes, even for governance purposes.
Yes, absolutely.
Legislators want to see what the polls are saying before they take position. In Nigeria, we are still trying, and it is very good that his organization is trying. There may still be a lot of skepticism this time around, but we hope if the effort is sustained, the time will come when we'll have the public respecting opinion polls.
Although I think the methodology that he's using seems to be quite impressive, because he made a distinction between them using mobile phones and therefore having greater penetration and having a more representative church of people than, for instance, the Bloomberg poll, which was one that used an app. And with that app, you can only get to people who can afford to be able to have the app on their phones.
And smartphones.
Have smartphones, absolutely.
Well, he said so. I agree entirely that using mobile phones, because there is a lot of penetration now, was an improvement over having the app. But you know, it is still fairly skewed, because definitely there is much more mobile phone concentration in the urban areas than there is in the rural areas.
That is true.
Yes, and there are millions of people in the rural areas that still don't have.
But also he made the point that a lot of those people may not be prepared to tell you exactly how they actually feel.
That one,
for a variety of reasons.
Exactly. It's part of the cultural problem that we have. Of course, even in developed countries, not everybody would like to say, or some people will deliberately mislead. That accounts for some of the inaccuracies. I mean, all the polls in America were talking about a red wave in the last midterm elections, and it didn't happen. It didn't happen.
That is true.
Exactly. So
but also, do you reckon that there may be fears as well that, you know, of how the information that's given is going to be, in other words, that they might think, oh my God, somebody's going to come after me for something or other. In
our kind of society, he explained that at length.
Or something.
I can imagine in Europe, nobody cares, nobody can do anything, because I said I'm going to vote for this party or that. But here, there is good reason to worry, not just government, but even your landlord may throw you out if he hears your choice.
I understand what you mean. Let's move to Jega Pele, who is a very impressive man who campaigns on behalf of people with disabilities. He's done an extraordinary job with this, getting the issue of people with disabilities to be on the front burner, hasn't he? With
very
elections
important.
approaching.
He has done so. He has been doing so for a long time. I mean, I have been seeing him on television for probably 15 to 20 years. So it's very good. Now, as he explained tonight, you know, there are two very important aspects to it. If you have a large constituency like people with special needs that make up 16% of all the registered voters, definitely if you can get them together to exert pressure, every candidate will have to sit up. Now, but that's just for election purposes. Beyond election, you must see that each of the major candidates has a program tailored to the needs of special, and he's very right. People may be well-meaning, but they don't know what to do. I mean, you have to tell them. You have to tell them. I mean, I might not know that somebody might need a magnifying glass to see the ballot paper until you sit down with the Electoral Commission and say so. So they are doing a wonderful. He is doing a wonderful job.
Yeah, he is. And there is. I mean, what I like about what he talked about was that beyond the fact that they're doing a lot of civic and voter education for both the sort of the public at large and people within the special needs community. That's why they've got this Able to Vote campaign. They're also developing a socio-political model of disability that this country ought to adopt going forward.
That is very important. That is, as he said, you know, their effort paid off, for example, in getting an amendment to a section of the Electoral Act that mandates the Electoral Commission to. That's very important. But you know, whoever wins the election and whatever is the outcome, the advocacy and the campaign has to continue to hold legislative and the executive officers responsible, and you present them with a program and exert pressure and ensure that all these things are accommodated and mainstreamed into socio-economic policy. It is very, very important, and it is a never-ending work.
Absolutely.
It's not just election.
Yeah, it has to go on. And I want to thank you very much indeed, Mahmood Jega, as always. Very considered analysis. And he is, of course, an Arise News analyst and former chairman of the editorial board of Daily Trust newspaper. That's it for this edition of Arise Prime Time. Join us again tomorrow from me and the entire team here in Abuja. Bye-bye, and thank you for watching.